All right, they're starting draft. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Style Esports Season 9. This is the last day of the regular season, and we have two teams ready to go up against each other tonight. We have Penta Society up against Pueo Gaming Academy. These two teams are ready to duke it out tonight. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by True Tabaga, and we're ready to get it underway. True Tabaga, are you ready?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready. You know, it's the final series of the season, so hopefully we can have some really great games ahead of us tonight.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited because I don't know whether to say that this qualifies me as weeb trash, but it might. We do have a couple of folks who are sporting the names of HoloLive VTubers tonight. And they have more folks with more of those names in their sub list as well. So I'm excited to see Pueo Gaming Academy just based off of that. But we have a bunch of interesting one tricks tonight, a lot of which have been banned away, to be honest. But still, it's still going to be a fun game regardless.
Yeah, those easy one trick callouts you can see there. Penta Society banning away the Vladimir, but then Pueo Gaming Academy also taking away Warwick and Katarina from their opponents there on the blue side. But we are into those picks proper now, and Penta Society, they've locked in Sejuani early on. You know, good to I think that's very, very reasonable, especially seeing the Trundle being banned away. So Sejuani should feel relatively strong in most circumstances. Pueo answer with Leona MF, a really strong bot lane in its own right. And ooh, a Poppy pick.
Okay.
It's very interesting to see.
Yeah, nice for sure. Fun. I mean, yeah, and I've been liking the Poppy pick a whole lot more recently. I just don't know how much I like it in this particular comp. Usually we see Poppy as the anti-mobility champion, right? You know, I've been making this joke a whole lot because like a lot of folks have been like, Vex doesn't seem like the anti-mobility champion. But Poppy definitely is, right? If you try to do any sort of dash, blink, jump, whatever, inside or out, or inside through that Poppy circle, you will not get through. And the only reason I'm not exactly excited about it, because there isn't a whole lot on Pueo's side. It's really only the Leona.
Yeah, I mean, what it does is it gives you the option to flex that between top or support. You could also theoretically flex it to jungle, but Sejuani's already been picked, so that's a non-factor. And Poppy, like you mentioned, with that steadfast presence, can stop something like a Zenith Blade from Leona. Leona, even if she lands it, Poppy just pops it, and Leona falls short, and she can't get her normal CC combo off. But at the same time, I suppose the other part of it is like, hey, if we really want something better for bot lane, or otherwise flexible, and we think we can send it top, we can go for that. But I agree with you. It's a little bit early to lock it in, and I feel like there are other things you can try flexing rather than Poppy.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty good pickup as well. As we take a look at the other bans here, we have Xerath and Volibear and Nautilus and Echo being banned away by Pueo and Penta, respectively, as Mordekaiser is going to be hovered for Pueo Academy.
Yeah, Mordekaiser can give you so much ease of access. Very strong as a laner in his own right. Pretty much demands attention, forces it even by sending at least one person with him into the death realm and having that 1v1. But then in addition to that, it gives you the ability to create a split push threat. You can TP into fights, especially around those neutral objectives, toss the jungler into the death realm and turn what would be a 50-50 situation into an easy win, especially when you have a jungler that's so good at securing objectives like a Nunu on your team. It's very, very dangerous to play against. And I like that pick from Pueo. It's a decent little read on their part. But Penta, they round out their draft with Gnar and Syndra being the blind. And I think that's relatively safe considering the spot in the meta that we're in right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Syndra's definitely a good champion to lock in fairly blind, is really only countered by these champions that are not exactly, that are not the mana champions. So we're going to see Yone, one of the edgy sword brothers, locked in here for the mid lane. Definitely looking pretty good. I mean, Yone does help you keep folks inside that Misfortune ultimate, which I assume the Absolute Zero is going to be doing as well. So there's a lot of good things to put into this Misfortune basket for Pueo Gaming Academy here. Meanwhile, on the other end, I'm not sure how I feel about the Gnar, because usually when you lock in Sejuani, you want a bunch of melee champions, right? But Gnar is kind of half of that, right? And I think that's the big thing for me, is why I don't exactly like the Gnar pick.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that front. Like, especially when you consider the other champions that are drafted here aren't super great to proc the Sejuani stun, right? Jinx, Syndra, they're both ranged, although Syndra has a little bit of setup for the Sej. Poppy is melee. You do have a gap closer with the heroic charge, and therefore you can combo stuns off of that. But like you said, Gnar, he doesn't really have that kind of ease of access in his mini Gnar form. He has to be mega. And I agree with you. It's a little bit of a disconnect on that front. But what Sejuani does offer is that profoundly tanky front line alongside the likes of a Poppy, of a Mega Gnar. It's really, really hard to chew through how beefy that front line is going to be, which means it will be definitely on Puyo to find access into that back line, find those really good bullet time ultimates, or even a Fate Sealed from the Yone.
Yeah, for sure. I think what this also tells me is that I hope that Amelia Watson, the AD carry for Puyo Gaming Academy here, are going to be going for the press the attack build, the crit misfortune build, as opposed to the lethality. There's going to be so much resistances on Penta Society here. It's going to be really tough to actually get through a lot of that armor here. You will be able to heavily damage Syndra and Jinx for sure if you go lethality, but I feel like it might just be more important to just have your damage a little bit more diversified.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you consider, like, think about who those magic damage threats are on the side of Puyo Gaming Academy, right? It's the Mordekaiser, Nunu, and Willem. Yes, Mordekaiser can deal out a ton of magic damage in a team fight, but he needs to be in your face. So it's super hard to get onto those backline carries like the Syndra and the Jinx. And then in addition to that, Nunu and Willem, Nunu, you don't want him to be in your front line, right? You need Nunu, or sorry, in the enemy team backline. You need Nunu to be in the front to have that absolute zero help lock down targets, especially because if Nunu's not there and Mordekaiser's in the Death Realm, the only person who can frontline, who can even either set up for misfortune or to peel any potential engage or tank it, is going to be Che Wonton on this Leona, and that's not nearly sufficient enough. So, like you said, not too much mixed damage on the side of Puyo's comp. But you know, on the other side of it, right? I actually like the damage variety that is on the side of Penta. Like, every single one of these champions has access to mixed damage. And then, like, I'd also say overall decent scaling. But I would also say, you know, Puyo, they do have a little bit of early game prowess, especially with that bot lane between Misfortune and Leona.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was going to agree with you for the most part on the mixed damage for sure, because even Jinx is going to be doing a decent chunk of magic damage between Zap and her little bit of extra magic damage on the rockets as well. I'm definitely liking, like you said, like the mixed damage threat is really important, because most of the time, or I don't want to say most of the time, magic resistance is not as efficient to build in season 11 as armor is. Armor is just so much easier to come by. The items are a lot more efficient, and they're so much more plentiful as well, right? When MR items come to mind, like the only things I can think of that are like very good, Gargoyle Stoneplate maybe, right? Spirit Visage, but like that's a fringe item that, like, if you can capitalize on it, you use it. Even like a mainstay item from a long time ago, Maw of Malmortius is not as good as it used to be, right? But armor is just very, very good. There's so many good items with armor on them that if you don't have a decent magic threat on your team, you can just get outbuilt in terms of items if you fall behind.
Yeah, I completely and wholeheartedly agree with you. Like you said, access to armor is much easier, and it makes a lot more sense as far as dealing with damage, especially like you said, Maw Mortius used to be super popular, but now everyone just goes for like shield bow, or they go for oh gosh, it's completely escaping me right now.
Sterix,
thank you. They go for Sterix. They just get the normal shielding in, and it's totally okay. But, you know, to put myself on the spot, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well before we head to the break, I actually really like the comp that Penta has. I think I like the scaling. I like the variety it brings to the table. I feel like in terms of ease of execution, it might be slightly more difficult because on the other side of it, Puyo, it's MF alt go Burr. But
Yeah.
I really do like if both of these teams want to execute what their game plans are. I really like what Penta Society has drafted for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. And I would mostly agree with you. I just also think that Pueo, I think you're right as well, that this is just a comp that's significantly easier to execute as well. They have a lot of good setup for Misfortune, and even if Misfortune falls behind, they have some decent damage dealers to follow up on that as well. But we are going to jump to just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be loaded onto the Rift for game number 1 of Penta Society versus Pueo Gaming Academy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Summoner's Rift.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Jinkari. I'm joined by True Tabaga. We're on the Rift of Penta Society on the blue side, up against Pueo Gaming Academy on the red, and we're got a level 1.
Oh,
That's going to be the immediate stun. Flash up against the wall. OCD Hobo's got nowhere to go. Colts fan 029 going to pick up the first blood in this game. Sejuani picking up some kills. That's pretty good for your jungler. I didn't even get a chance to ask you if you're doing how you're doing, but True Tabaga, how you feeling after that first blood?
hey, that was pretty nice to see, right? Like, everyone fully commits for it. Obviously, you see Papa skips there starting for that heroic charge just to get the hit in, insta proc into that stun with the Sejuani. It's not her actual passive, but this passive stun that she has attached to her kit. And yeah, very easy first blood. You did see that go into the pocket of Colts fan there. Unfortunately, wasn't able to back in time to buy anything additional off of it. But hey, it's a nice little morale boost right at the outset of the game, and even for us here on the casting test, nice to see.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start, especially for a jungler who can definitely spread that gold around, right? It's not exactly on a carry, right? But Sejuani is going to be your carry in these first few levels, first few minutes of the game. So this is going to be a pretty good start as we're getting a little bit of cheese maybe in the bot lane here. Jinx might be in some trouble. All right, they're looking for the engage right here, but that's going to be the heroic slam up against the wall. Zap coming across. Jay Wonton taking incredibly low. Flashes forward, going to get the shield. That's going to be the cleanse coming out from Mobe, but they're actually taking incredibly low here. They might actually be taking down. Flashes over the wall. Zap is not going to come out soon enough. They're going to pick up the stray kill on the Jay Wonton. Now Amelia Watson is on the run from Papa Skips. Gets the slam up against the wall. They might actually look for a little bit more there, but Press the Attack is really good at these early levels here. They might be in a whole lot of trouble. And we're 2 minutes into this game, and there's already 3 kills on the board.
Yeah, Che Wonton and Amelia Watson, like you said, wanted to cheese. They wanted to get onto Mobi, but they also didn't want to commit any summoners super early, so they tried to walk it in. Papa Skips with a very good reaction to just pin the Jinx into the wall. Then you saw the flash and force the cleanse, but like you said, press the attack. It does stack up. Nice kill into Amelia Watson's pocket, and even something that does work relatively in the favor of Puyo there is that it's Papa Skips that ends up getting the kill there. Mobi did not get it, only got the assist gold in.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit more annoying for Mobi in this bot lane here, especially because, in my opinion, Misfortune is a relatively low econ AD carry. So even with this kill in their pocket, they should be able to accelerate themselves ahead fairly well.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, there are just so many things that help Misfortune out in this early laning phase. Her passive helps you get your last hits in because it does so much damage to those minions. But then in addition to that, you can get early backs that other AD carries can't pull off with Strut. So MF is super flexible in terms of build. She can get back to lane faster than pretty much any other AD carry in the game, and that gives Amelia Watson so much early game power here. And ooh, that's a Hex Flash being channeled.
Oh yeah, that's a real good W being used by Papa Skips there. They now need to kite this out, because here comes the biggest snowball ever. Hosho Marine shows up in the bot lane here, but Amelia Watson is already going to pick up the kill on a Papa Skips here. Mobi is taken incredibly low, so they're just going to have to hug this turret, because that is their lifeline in this bot lane right now.
Yeah, Amelia Watson already going to 1,200 gold at 4 minutes in, and that's almost a bit of what you'd call a disaster situation. And, oh, okay, nice little trade there in the mid lane, but like I said, really disastrous spot for the bot lane of Penta Society to be in. Oh, Zenith Blade in!
Yeah, they're looking for Mobi right now, taking actually incredibly low. Amelia Watson is the one taking up turret right now, but now they're outside turret range. Papa Skips is going to be able to find 1 kill. Can they find another one? Amelia Watson is trying to run away. Can they get that's the slam? Slow them down just a little bit more. Heroic slam. It's not going to be able to get them against the wall. There's the push. There's the shield. There's the last auto attack they need. Papa Skips picks up a big shutdown.
Blood for the blood god. Papa Skips goes to 3-1, 4 minutes in, matching the enemy AD carry. And yeah, I think that was a really good look by Che Wonton to get that Zenith Blade in, but unfortunately, Papa Skips gets back to lane just in time for the punish, gets 2 kills into his pocket even before Hosho Marine can show up to back up Amelia Watson. But here's some more action in the mid lane.
Ooh, nope. Real good stop by Slay Belcata there, but they are out of mana, so I don't know how much longer they can stick in this lane. I believe they do have that Time Warp tonic, so these biscuits will be recovering just a little bit more, but yeah. Mobi and Papa Skips are definitely having a rough time in this bot lane. They're definitely collecting skulls for the Skull Throne as well. It's just a vast majority of the kills are in this bot lane and on this Misfortune right now. As we're getting some fighting up in the top lane. OCD Hobo is just taking some trades back and forth.
Oh, wait, Hosho Marine does get spotted out by Cults.
Yeah, do have the stun now. It's going to be Syndra trying to use that Scatter the Weak stun, but they're going to be just out of there just in time. Phase Rush is so good on Nunu.
Oh, yeah. Phase Rush in general for any champion that's able to make really good use of it is really, really frustrating to play against. Because in addition to that wild movement speed, you get all that slow resistance. And whoa, right in the bot lane.
Yeah, Chain Wonton is going to get that Aftershock gone, but that's going to be the stun coming across. They're taking incredibly low. Mobi might be able to pick up the kill, but it looks like it's going over to Papa Skips this time. 4-1 on this pop.
Yeah, this is where when you are a tank support, you're like, I'm going to be a tank, right? You either go for like that more expensive top laner mythic, or as Poppy specifically, you're like, whatever, I'm getting Divine Sunder, baby. I'm carrying. Gonna burst them all. But, you know, really quickly though, as we have a little bit of a lull, I do want to point out, you were talking about having a rough time here, and I actually think OCD Hobo having an incredibly rough time in this top lane. 32 CS down at 7 minutes in, and that is just so annoying of a spot to be in as a top laner, and you definitely hate to be playing in that sort of situation.
Looks like Papa Skips might have looked for a little bit of an engage there, but Cyan is there to answer as all the action is just happening on the bot side of the map here. Good stun on a Hosha Marine here. The bot lane for the blue side hasn't exactly answered just yet. Mobai is in a whole lot of trouble, has to flash away. The biggest snowball ever doesn't land, but the Zenith Blade will. Now they're trapped underneath the turret. Cyan's going to go down. Mobai is picking up the kill. Now they're excited. Let's see if they want to look for a little bit more, but it looks like they're just backing away. So the blue team is going to pick up an easy kill for themselves underneath the turret and maybe look to grab some dragon pressure, but it looks like Poppy's backing.
It was so cool watching Hosho Marines blast go and get completely canceled by Colts fans stun. It was absolutely hilarious. But equally cool to watch the Nunu use that biggest snowball ever, get away from the Sejuani, look for an opportunity to engage. But the engage got flopped. Cyan went in with Zenith Blade, and once again, Papa Skips on this Poppy, pinned him into the wall. Ooh, this might be a solo kill top lane.
Yeah, that might be. Wait a minute, bullet time coming across on the top lane. Mobai is nowhere to go, and that's going to be the red team picking up the dragon. Thanks for the leash. They're going to be able to pick that up and walk away. Slay Belcata is now looking for Azdorath here, but they're hopping over the wall. Look at that burst damage coming across already. Fate Seal not going to land. Now they're underneath turret. There's the damage from Syndra, but not quite close. Papa Skip still wants it though. He's looking for it. Can he get it? Papa's here. All right, they're out of there. Now Papa's not gonna be skipping over to get that kill this time.
Yeah, I mean, like just a couple more seconds. The flash isn't quite up yet, but you could see the fury in his eyes, right, as he's walking forward trying to get that Yone. But otherwise, yeah. Looked like that Colts fan Mobai were just caught completely out of position trying to start up that early drag. No flashes on either of them. And, well, Hosho Marine and his bot lane, they're like, okay, we're going to take a dragon and 2 kills to go. And they just get all of it. So even though this early game feels like it's been very oriented towards Penta Society, Puyo, they're finding their opportunities for themselves as well.
Yeah, Mobai might have stepped up a little too much here. That's going to be the Shiny Shield. Zenith Blade as well. Mobai taking incredible help. That's going to be the last bit of damage that Amelia Watson needs in order to pick up that kill in the bot lane as more and more kills go over to this Misfortune.
Yeah, and that's the person who we want to get those carries on if you're a Puyo Gaming Academy fan or supporter, right? With this comp here, they absolutely need to have as much gold on MF as possible, get this carry going. And yeah, I'd definitely say they're executing on that as Amelia Watson goes up to 5 kills. We might see some action here around the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Colts fan is going to be in some trouble here. Hosho Marine is going to catch up. That's going to be the Rude. The Absolute Zero's coming across. They're going to slow him up just a little bit more. OCD has pulled them into the Shadow Realm. Yami no Gameu. Give me those star chips. OCD Hobo's going to pick up their first kill of the game as here comes Svoboda over the wall here. Biggest snowball ever. Going to knock them into the air. Just giving them a little bit more space to get away from this. OCD Hobo's got to run for their life because this Gnar is dangerous. They're going to be able to pick up 1 kill, scare them off the Rift Herald, and get out of there. As Papa Skips looking for the Yone one more time. Might have dove in a little too far. Here comes the rest of the team. Cyan, Amelia Watson, the whole team's here. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Everyone is here. Shut down onto the Poppy. Some more gold into Amelia Watson's pocket. This Misfortune's huge.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what Papa Skips and Slay Belcata are thinking there. Yes, you see the Yone, but you already know that they have multiple members at the very least situated towards the top side, looking that Rift Herald. So just a little bit of over-aggression, just continuously like paying dividends for the side of Pueblo, because they're just finding punish after punish, and it's not quite over yet.
Yeah, that's gonna be the biggest snowball ever. Papa Skip still looking for the wall slam right here. Azdorath underneath the turret here. Someone's tanking it. It's gonna be Hosho Marine, but they're gonna pass it off at just the end there. Super Mega Death Rocket. There it goes.
That was a flash?
Yeah, that
was
a
heal, actually. Yeah, both summoners forced out of Amelia.
Yeah, I think you take that every day of the week. That's a free one. That's a freebie.
Yeah.
It's free real estate.
Okay. Yeah, that feels absolutely wonderful for the side of Puyo just getting kill after kill, and they even got the neutral objectives, both of them, thus far in the game, getting the Rift Herald for themselves and that dragon previously. But one thing that like I just keep taking a glance at is this farm in the top lane. OCD Hobo currently in the bottom lane tribe rush, not even in his own lane. And Svoboda is just chilling in this top.
Yeah,
it's almost a flame horizon. Like, look at this.
This is I mean, it's nearly 100 CS difference. Like, this is a OCD. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we got a wall slam onto Amelia Watson here. This might be the opportunity they're looking for, but Mobi does not have that Super Mega Death Mark available, so that little bit of dash they got from the Gale Force is going to keep them alive for just a little bit longer. They're looking for the damage onto Shelly. It's going to get them away. Actually, they're excited now. They can keep fighting this. Mobi actually dealing a decent chunk of damage to Che Wonton here, but I don't think they're able to keep aggressing here. That Naked Rain is going to give them just a little bit more space, but Papa Skip still wants some more. Super Mega Death Mark comes across. Still not enough to find Amelia Watson.
Yeah, Super Mega Death Rocket goes straight through the uprights. Unfortunately, did not score any points. Well, a little bit of a re-engage.
Oh, yeah, huge bullet time. Look at those HP bars slowly going down here. That's going to be a great interrupt. Poppy ultimate to boot. Okay, a lot to like about that play in the bot lane there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just a fantastic opportunity to look for the punish. It forced out the flashes from both Colts fan and Mobi. And it was completely shredding through them. That would have been kills without those flashes being there. But then in addition to that, like with the follow-up play, the absolute zero being used by Hosho Marine, it looked really, really good. But then Colts fan throws out the Flail of the Northern Winds, gets the stun down, the absolute zero pop doesn't kill the Jinx, and then Papa skips, you know, he summons the Poppycopter, and, well, he sends Hosho Marine back towards the base.
Yeah, it was really good to do so too, because that absolute zero could have gotten very out of hand very quickly. So yeah, it was a very good time to do that as well. Taking stock of where we are, 14 minutes into this game, 6 to 9 kills. There's only a 500 gold lead for the red team right here, but I feel like this is a game really held together by the blue team, especially on this top half of the map. Look at Svoboda right now. You're right, it is nearly a flame horizon up there.
Yeah. Okay,
good interrupt. Are we looking for more? What's up? Okay. Yeah. I'm backing away. Neither team really wants to engage just yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, the dragon is spawned here. Neither team wants to give this up. Oh, this is a fight.
Yeah, that's in the top realm. Svoboda is going to be pulled into the shadow realm, but not this time. Going to be able to pick up the kill for themselves. The dragon started up. Zastarath is going to dive right in. That's a great fate seal. They're pulled right in. The HP bars are slowly going down here as Che Wonton's going to be able to pick up the first kill here. Nunu's picked up the second. Mobi has joined the fight. Now they're looking for a little bit more. Zap comes across, throws down Leona here. Now they're looking for a little bit more, but Papa Skips is just a little too low here. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across, but it goes wide. They picked up the dragon. They picked up a 1-for-1, and I think that's pretty favorable for you at the end of the day if you're the red squad.
Yeah, Puyo, they do want to get that win condition stacking up. This will be a Cloud Soul for this map. So, you know, not the Mountain Soul that you would love to have, especially into like the scaling damage of, let's say, a Jinx. But Cloud in its own right is really nice, not just off of that ultimate cooldown or the movement speed when popping your ultimate, but 10% flat movement speed is absolutely huge to move around the map, to get back on, like out after you get a back done, and also just to answer as far as rotations are concerned, or even play proactively. So having that available as a potential win condition is super, super important. The only other thing that like I can think of though is that this happens a lot of the time, right? Teams give up 2 dragons and they're like, that's fine, we're willing to give up 2, we'll fight really, really hard for the rest of them because we don't want you guys to have an easy win con. And as considering how that fight went, that next dragon fight in a couple of minutes could be catastrophic for the side of Puyo.
Yeah, as now OCD Hobo, this is why you need to spend just a little bit more time in your lane, but Svoboda is just doing so much damage. Let's see if he's got the hop and maybe a little bit more, but can't quite find him. Mobi is going to be in some trouble here trying to protect the turret, but there's a Che Wonton over the wall. Bullet time as well. Amelia Watson's on a rampage, 7-1-3.
Yeah, I mean, I know as a support main myself, when you see your bot lane tower getting taken, you don't want to give it up. Right, like, and you also think, oh, it's just the AD carry here, I can stop this. But you know, when it's an MF Leona, MF is never truly alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just saw Che Wonton Hex flash in, really fantastic punish, and yeah, you just got to be so cognizant of things like that. Uh-oh.
Is that how that works? Okay, that's me learning for the first time right there. Che Wonton gonna take a bit of damage from Slay Belcata over the wall here. Papa Skip's in some trouble. Che Wonton still pretty healthy, and Osho Marine's gonna pick up the kill into Papa Skips. That's gonna be Svoboda finding Azdorath over the wall here. They're still looking to do a bit of a fight here, but the red team is full in their hole here in spades. Che Wonton, that's the Zenith Blade onto Nar, gonna be able to find the stun as well, but not a whole lot of follow-up damage as well. Slay Belcata is still trying to find that last bit of damage that they need. That's gonna be the Rage Bar. Here comes the Mega Gnar. He does have that Gnar available, but it doesn't seem like Super Mega Death Arc comes across, but not going to be able to pick up any kills this time. The red team has retreated, and the blue team is now on this mid turret.
Yeah, as you said, it forced the retreat, which means they try to siege up on this tower, but there's still the possibility of a re-engage.
Yeah, it's really close there by Svoboda, and OCD Hobo is taken incredibly low as well. Yeah, this I think the blue team might have recognized their way for Jinx to get back into this game, maybe finding out this Mordekaiser who is sitting on early game numbers of CS right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait a minute. Fate Seal coming across. Slay Belcata is going to go down. Is this a teleport coming in for the red side as well? Mordekaiser is in the fight. That's going to be the zap coming across. Biggest snowball ever. Zenith Blade does not land. Can they find the Jinx? They're going to find Papa Sky Skips as well. Instead, Amelia Watson looking for the last bit of damage, but now they're underneath turret. Have to flash over the wall to go to the Raptors. They're going to be slammed against the wall, exhausted and taken down. Svoboda still looking for a little bit more. Going to throw out the slow on Che Wonton. Can they find it? That's going to be the dash. That's going to be the Gnar. They've slowed Leona up against the wall. They're going to pull him into the Shadow Realm right here, but I don't think that's a 1v1 you're looking for. Mobai is going to be the one picking up the kill, and now they're looking for OCD Hobo. Can they gift it over to Jinx? It's going to go over to Coltsman 029, and the blue team picks up a big fight for themselves. 4 for nothing.
Yeah, over-aggression seems to be a continuous theme in this game so far. Osho Marine and Amelia Watson, after Azdorath finds that quick kill with the Fate Sealed into the snapback, Nunu goes forward, the MF goes forward under the tower. Mobai finally gets some revenge in, able to get one kill, and then you actually see Amelia Watson flash over the wall into the Raptor pit, and I actually didn't think that was going to be a stun, but Papa Skips found the stun, means no auto attack finishes him off, and Mobai gets another into the pocket now, and that's a 300 gold bounty onto this Jinx, and after that early game, must feel fantastic for the 80 carry of Penta Society.
Yeah, and now look at what they picked up as well. Runon's Hurricane. This is going to be some Jinx rockets that are really going to hurt. The AoE damage that Jinx has is insanely good right now. So, and those rockets are still very potent as well. You know, they got a buff a long time ago that reduced the amount of attack speed reduction, but it's going to be the Fate Seal coming across. They might have been able to find Mobai right here. There, immediately, I was singing their praises, and immediately they are deleted. Amelia Watson just does too much damage, as now OCD Hobo is now in this fight. That's going to be the dash over the wall by Coltsfan right now. They're fighting really hard to keep this dragon alive. That's going to be Gnar dashing forward, slams him against the wall. There's one. Can Svoboda find more? They're able to steal away the Cloud Drake in the middle of all that chaos, but the blue team is falling one after another. 4 already down. Che Wonton able to find the stun. Can they find the Zenith Blade? No, but here comes the biggest snowball ever. Osho Marine, ahoy! Ace for the red team. They might have lost the Drake, but they picked up 5 kills for themselves.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to start walking towards that Baron too. And you think about how that fight started off with the bot lane of Penta Society getting completely caught out and then deleted. And that gave the rest of Puyo so much breathing room. Starting up the drag, yes, they did lose it, but like you said, they finished off that ace, and now they are on the Baron.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard to steal away from Osho Marine. Nunu is not exactly someone you steal objectives away from, but this might be the perfect opportunity to do so. The blue team is here, and Mobai is doing so much damage. OCD Hobo's inside the Shadow Realm right now, but Mobai is trying to keep this Baron pulled for as long as possible. OCD Hobo's now running for their life, but in the second that they come out, they are immediately going to answer and pick up that kill. They've knocked Nunu away, and now he can't, because he's being zoned away by Svoboda here. He can't get back into the pit, and this is a great opportunity. Mobai just does so much damage to this Baron Nashor. The blue team comes out on top after an ace. They pick up 2 kills. They steal away the Baron, and now they can take whatever turret they want.
Yeah, you take a look at the gold lead now, and it's a 3K gold lead for Penta Society.
Rift Herald too.
And now they have Rift Herald. And my goodness, like, what's the thing for 100 Thieves? Heist successful? That was ludicrous.
Yeah,
Like,
now they're diving forward here, but Fate Sealed, Absolute Zero, bullet time as well. So many HP bars going low, but no kills just yet. That's a great Glacial Prison. Going to keep Hosho Marino just away for a little bit longer. OCD Hobo, however, looking for the kill on a Jinx. Going to get stunned up just a little bit more, but Chain Wonton still wants some more. That's going to be the Zap slowing them down. The biggest snowball ever was canceled, but that's going to be Asterath looking for a little bit more. Remember, he doesn't have the Fate Sealed right now. That's going to be just the blue team just trying to kite them backwards as much as possible, because look at the top lane. Gnar is taking that top lane. I don't think OCD Hobo is going to be able to match him. He's 4 levels higher than you, buddy.
Oh my goodness. 4 levels higher, and not to mention 120 CS up. This Gnar is massive.
Yeah, and he's trying to run for his life right now. I don't think he has flash. He's trying to just hippity-hoppity around, maybe just be a nuisance for as long as possible, but the rest of the team isn't exactly in a position to take something off of that time wasted in the top lane. So 1-0 after picking up a turret. I think you got to be pretty happy about that if you're Svoboda.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, the turret is the global goal, but in addition to that, you know, that is a side lane tier 2 turret. That is so much gold in your pocket. And you actually just saw there Svoboda finished up the Sterak's Gauge after getting sent back to the base. And yeah, this Gnar is going to be a bit of a problem, some people might say nowadays. And yeah. I mean, it took 3 people to take him down just now, and oh, those are some rockets.
Yeah, those are some rockets that definitely hurt here. And Asterath, I don't know if you're going to be able to do any sort of cheeky plays to dive on top of the Jinx, because he's spacing very, very well. And also spawn camping. Yep, you're going to come right back and go on top of the Chompers. That lifeline shield's going to keep you alive for just a little bit longer, but it's not going to save your life. Mobi's going to pick up a kill in the mid, and the top lane is in the mid. Marine's looking for an engage. Gets the knockup, but I don't think there's a whole lot of damage to follow up.
Yeah, spawn camping, that's actually a really good one. I like that. Throwing down the Chompers on where the original Yone body is. And it really looked like Asterath was trying to hold it for as long as possible to try to make the Chompers go away first. But in the end, I don't think you're getting away from that situation no matter what. Ooh, that's a nice stun.
Yeah, and this is going to be the engage from Hosho Marine again. Papa Skips ready to go, but again, ooh, Super Mega Death Orca comes across, forces the flash from Amelia Watson. The blue team is here. They don't have a wave, though, so they do have to wait just a little bit longer. Check the timer on this Baron. Are they resetting?
Yeah, it looks like they're looking for the reset. I mean, they don't have a wave in mid. They have a wave in top, but they choose to not push it. I guess they want to get their resets in before this next dragon comes up, which I think is understandable.
Yeah, and it's coming up in just a little bit as well, but this does give the opportunity for the red team to get here first, and Colts fan didn't back. He just walked over to the pits right now. So it's a 2v4 right now. Mordekaiser is in the base with teleport ready. There's not a whole lot of good spaces for him to teleport to. Let's see. It's going to be Scatter the Weak coming down to Asterath on the side. Teleport comes down from Mordekaiser here, but it's over the wall. They're looking for it, and that's going to be Colts fan tucking the mill. They're going to immediately interrupt the Absolute Zero, and now Mobi is excited and able to dash through. Fate's Eyes and Fate's Sealed is not going to land on a Jinx, and neither is that Solar Flare. Chain Wonton's in some trouble. Going to flash over the wall. Mobi looking for a little bit more. Zap over the wall. Not going to be able to find the snow. Super Mega Death Orca comes across. Ooh. That's a big explosion. Can they find the last bit of damage? Slammed up against the turret. Mobi is huge. Double kill for the Jinx. Ace for the blue team. They're going to be able to get this dragon, maybe even a couple turrets. They can get whatever they want.
Yeah, and that was an ace off of that. And as you said, they got... No, the dragon's actually still up. They're just going to continue pushing. Yeah. Hosho Marine, the death timer is coming up right now, so they should be able to finish off this turret, but I'm not really sure. No, they'll stick around for the inhib. It's only the Nunu on the field for now. But otherwise, yeah, really well done fight once more by Penta Society. It looked decent as Asterath got that Fate Sealed in, but it didn't combo perfectly with the bullet time. It actually was towards the very edge of it, and because Fate Sealed bunches you up at the very end, it looked like the last few waves of bullet time didn't land. And yeah, this gold lead mounting for Penta Society, it's getting very significant at this point, roughly 7k or a bit more than that. And yeah, that's going to be increasingly difficult for the side of Puyo to deal with, as now they're really firmly in the, hey, we need MF to have a game-changing ultimate basket.
Yeah, and she has picked up the Infinity Edge, which is interesting because I don't think they actually have enough crit chance.
No, they
So
do.
okay, they picked up the cloak.
No,
20,
it's 60%.
is it? It
Gale
looks like 55. Oh,
Gale Force,
Infinity Edge gives you the last bit you need.
LDR, and yeah,
Okay.
Infinity Edge gives you.
I always confuse. Does LDR does give you crit chance? That's always weird to me.
Yes. Yeah,
I always thought it was just the armor pen and AD, but
you know, itemization changes this season.
yeah.
It's all confusing.
All right, that's the engage here. OCD Hobo's going to pull Papa Skips into the Shadow Realm here. Hopefully, he gains some locator cards and maybe the rarest card. That's going to be the Zenith Blade. That's the Solar Flare, excuse me, coming across Fate Seal as well. This is not looking good for the blue team right here. Mobai finally able to get some space to auto attack here, as that's going to be no one has fallen just yet. That's going to be the first death here. Mordekaiser on the back end with that Super Mega Death Rocket. Mobai looking for a little bit more, looking for that damage, but can't quite find the follow up. Huge stun from Scout of the Week. Can they find the less of the damage? Slay Belcata picks up another. That's 2 deaths so far. Astaroth slowed forward. That's going to be the last bit of damage. Syndra picks up a double kill, and now they have super minions pushing into the base. They can just walk in. Chain Wonton looking for maybe a cheeky kill on the Slay Belcata. Might be able to get it. Ignite is ticking down. They're going to be able to pick up the kill on the Syndra, but that's just a consolation prize because the only person standing between the blue squad and winning is Amelia Watson, and her HP bar just goes immediately down. Amelia Watson goes down. The blue team might not be able to end the game just yet. They don't have a wave. Mobai willing to take up the turf for a little bit longer, but here comes OCD Hobo.
Yeah, honestly, that hero play from Che Wonton to take Syndra out might have been incredibly meaningful there. And then in addition to that, the dive onto Amelia Watson, the towers, doing their darndest to make sure Cult's fan dies too. So game-saving play, but still a very, very difficult situation that Puyo finds themselves in, as they are staring down the barrel of a defeat in game one. And yeah, you see the TP coming in, and Penta Society, they start this Baron right up.
Yeah, and I'm liking this call as well. You have the tempo advantage right now. The game's in your control. You have the vision advantage as well. You know that the enemy team has to stay in their base. This is a very, very easy Baron Nasher for the blue team, which means that now they can look to push and end the game because they definitely can escort these super minion waves into the enemy base.
Yeah, I mean they can escort them, or they can just push the top lane. You know that with those minions pushing in mid and bot, it just forces the push, and you need to send people to respond. But oh, goodbye,
yes.
Hobo.
Yes, Svoboda is just unstoppable right now. Going to be able to pick up that kill. Very good amount of damage from Slay Belcata, especially on those 2 targets right there. And yeah, it's definitely looking real tough right now because we mentioned this before. Look at the MR on the enemy team here. There's not a whole lot. There's a lot of armor, right? And it makes sense because Jinx is very strong right now. But the second that they see Slay Belcata, the second that they see this Syndra, you know, they're like, oops, ooh, I forgot that Syndra does damage. Oops, whoopsie. Yeah, it's going to be a little tough to deal with the amount of damage that Syndra can deal.
Yeah, I mean, even in addition to that, you see Astaroth here doesn't even have the Infinity Edge done. Yone, a champion who can have 100% crit with just 2 items. It's a pretty catastrophic spot to be in. It's really, really rough to try to play it through there when you have like a late game scaling champion so weak. But this might be the final fight.
Hosho Marine's taken incredibly low. The absolute 0 is good. The bullet time comes across. It's not as good here as they're trying to run away. Oh! Double kill with the super mega death rocket. Amelia Watson once again the hero play, trying to keep themselves alive. Maybe they can preserve this Nexus for a little bit longer. Che Wonton one more time, looking to be the hero as well, but can't quite do it. Blue team picks up game number 1. Game number 1 goes over to Penta Society. We're going into game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, off that game, the early game looked pretty good for Puyo, right? They were aggressive, they were proactive, looking to punish this immobile Jinx that Mobai is on. But as the game played out, just multiple avenues for victory appeared for Penta Society. Most significantly, I would say off of Svoboda having a free lane continuously.
Yeah.
Like, it speaks for itself when you end the game 140 CS up over your opponent, twice as much gold than your laning opponent. Absolutely huge for that Gnar.
Yeah, and it even kind of compounded on itself as well because Mordekaiser went to roam around, which was even more time not spent in the top lane matching your opponent and then losing more CS. We saw it like 18 minutes. Excuse me, OCD Hobo had like 56 CS and halfway to a Riftmaker. That's borderline unacceptable for that point in the game. Like 20 minutes is past the halfway point. Um, people should see like a completed item and some boots. But we are going to take it to just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of Pueo, a gaming academy up against Penta Society. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season number 9. On the last day of the season, we have 2 teams ready to go, ready to duke it out. We are already in game number 2 of Pueo Gaming Academy up against Penta Society. This is their last game of the regular season going into playoffs. They're looking pretty bloodthirsty, as after that first game, we had about, I think it was close to 15 kills at 12 minutes. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by True Tabaga, and we are ready to get picks and bans of game number 2 underway. True, you ready?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready. I mean, especially after that first game. And like you said, absolute bloodbath, especially early on. These teams just constantly duking it out, kill after kill, both sides. But ultimately, Penta Society, they came out on top. And Svoboda having a very much standout performance with that Gnar. Massive CS gap in top lane. I think at some point he was even like 4 levels ahead.
Yeah.
So really, I think Penta, they just want to carry that momentum forward into a strong game 2, close the series out. But Pueo, they showed some really cool aggressive moves early on, so maybe they can work that around once again and be a little bit better on execution and find a win for themselves and take it to 3 games.
Yeah, for sure. Is now we're getting into picks and bans. I'm expecting maybe some different bans here. But like I think there weren't any sort of particular champion picks that were per se the issue. It was mostly just an issue of laning, of CS, and maybe some over aggression from both teams here. As this is pretty much expected here, as we're seeing pretty much identical bans to game 1.
Yeah, I mean, if I were at the side of Pueo, I'd probably say like, let's maybe look for something our top laner might be a bit more comfortable on, or at the very least, just remind OCD Hobo like, hey, don't spend too much time out of lane. It's super great that you're trying to work with the rest of the team and find advantages on the map, but we can't let their top laner get out of hand. We can't let them be so high up on gold. And also, that's what OCD Hobo sacrificed by being outside of his lane, right? You sacrifice gold, you sacrifice experience. Is absolutely catastrophic, so that's something they need to flex. And ooh, B1 Alistair. That's very interesting.
Yeah, for
Don't see that
sure.
very often.
Yeah, you definitely don't, because this is a champion that like is usually a counter pick to a lot of engage. I guess Pueo is like, hey, if Penta want to have that same kind of comp, we're definitely going to deny them as much as we can. As Sejuani and Caitlyn are going to be locked in for Penta Society here.
Yeah, I mean Penta, they go back to the Sejuani that I believe they went to in game 1 because the Trundle was banned away, and very easy lock in game 2. I guess we have some arcane enjoyers. I'm just kidding. As the Caitlyn gets locked in, but Caitlyn in general is always like hey, we can just lock this here. It slots in fine. It's an AD carry that has a lot of early game power, little bit like a very notorious mid game trough into a decent late game. So I think it makes sense if you want just something to blind, you go for Caitlyn. Thresh also a reasonable support, especially into something like Alistar, because you can flay the headbutt engage.
Yep.
Otherwise, Pueo's comp looking pretty similar.
Yeah.
Went back with the Nunu and Willump as well as the misfortune for themselves. So maybe they think they can just pull it off once again, instead taking the Leona out and switching over to Alistar.
Yeah, and I don't think this is too much of a bad decision, right? Because at the end of the game, I'm fairly certain Misfortune was like 15-5, right? Like an actually like very, very good scoreline. It's the kind of scoreline that you're just like, if that was a solo queue game and it wasn't your friends, you'd screenshot and just be like, I can't believe I couldn't carry this game. Like, that it's right, those please. Kinds of numbers with the Misfortune. So I'm not like too bent out of shape about this pick, because once again, it wasn't exactly the comp that was the issue. It was like, just a bunch of over committing to certain engagements. It was staying a little too long sometimes in certain places, and it was definitely the CS gap at the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a laner just be like able to free farm as much as that, especially for top lane, because top lane, if you leave for any reason or if you get killed, it can really start snowballing out of control, and that's really what we saw. But as far as the draft here is concerned, Echo picked up by Penta. Technically, I mean, because everyone remembers the days that like Echo was a bruiser pick top, but that's almost never done unless someone's trying to relive some glory days. So very, very likely that's a mid pick. Mm-hmm. And Pueo, they respond by going something that's safe and blindable like Malphite. It's a bit harder to punish Malphite in a similar way because he's always going to be able to ult, as opposed to the Mordekaiser. So I like the pick. As far as a blind is concerned, Rise, also being quite interesting, can definitely stop up an Echo for engaging. Oh, Silas now.
I love this.
That is the punish.
Yeah. So I actually love the Silas pick. Mostly because Penta actually has tools to have a pretty decent Misfortune comp. So if Silas were to steal bullet time, there's actually a lot of cases where Silas can actually just do so much damage with that bullet time, right? And there's not a whole lot that Pueo can do in order to get out of it, right? There's going to be the box, there's the stun zone with Echo, there is the glacial prison with Sejuani. Like, there's a lot of really, really good tools for Silas if they steal the bullet time that they can get away with. In addition to, the other very good ultimates on Pueo.
Yeah, I mean, Unstoppable Force, it's scary on Malphite. It is a tactical nuke on Silas. It's gonna be, like you said, MF ult bullet time. It scales with AD and AP, so Silas would be able to make incredibly good use of that. But at the same time, yeah, like, you never really want to give Silas that kind of ultimate, and even something like Absolute Zero can also be devastating because it's a massive AP scaling ultimate. So Silas is always going to be stronger than Nunu and Willump, unless Nunu and Willump is going for a AP oriented build, which is unheard of, almost unheard of. But yeah, I absolutely love this type of, it's a counter pick, like, and Swoboda, you're feeling really good after that last game, so you might as well go for it. Yeah. But otherwise, the comps are super similar, especially for the side here of Pueo. just a few different champions slotted out. But you still want the big MF ultimate, right? That's what this comp is still trying to enable.
Yeah, and I think they're still doing a good job of doing so, right? And I think the only way that they're really different in this matter is in that mid lane, right? Rise is a little bit of an interesting pickup here. I certainly was like, when I saw the Rise pickup here, but I think it's pretty safe, especially because it needed to be blinded. I think it is still like a pretty reliable pick that that no matter what kind of meta you're in, Rise is probably going to be a pain in the butt and probably does too much damage.
Yeah, and like, it's a bit of a meme, but EQ, right? It just blows you up. Rise doesn't even have to press W. But into this Echo matchup specifically, there are things that Rise can do very early on, especially if Echo is reckless with the usage of his abilities, or doesn't know your ranges. Specifically, like if Rise just starts W, he can just press W on any melee mid laner, get free auto attacks in, and get a lot of harass in that way. And then also, if Echo tries to phase dive, Rise can just press EW and root Echo, and then walk away. So there are ways that Aztarath can be really punishing for Slay Belkata on this Echo. But as far as the game overall is concerned, once again, Puyo have the ease of execution on their side, right? They have something that's very, very straightforward. Enable Amelia Watson once more. But then, once again, Penta Society have, we are going to punish you, and we are going to punish you hard on their side, especially with this Silas pick. And so, thinking about how that previous game went, I'm fairly certain that Penta Society have an avenue to win in here, unless, of course, Puyo, they find their footing with the super aggressive moves and are just able to execute cleaner this time around.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the big thing I want to personally point out is that there's a whole lot more magic damage in this game. And I think we mentioned this before in the previous game, but once again, MR is a less efficient resistance stat to pick up in this season, right? There are still some good items across the board, right? That's not per se that they're bad. It's just that they're cost inefficient, and sometimes don't even synergize fairly well with what you're building, right? Sejuani, we're probably going to see an Abyssal Mask and maybe a Gargoyle Stone Plate, but other than that, there's not like a whole lot of like maybe a Force of Nature, right? And for Echo, maybe we see like a Banshee's Veil come out, but that's really it. Like there's not really a plethora of MR items, and even some of those MR items that I listed off are also armor items.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, to only build upon your point, even tank mythic items, they have a little bit of MR tacked onto them. Merc treads, a little bit of MR tacked onto them. But as you said, MR as a stat is very inaccessible this season. And it's a really good call out that you mentioned. I like the fact that Puyo drafted much more magic damage, which makes it harder for the side of Penta Society to itemize against. That being said, though, Penta Society also have a ton of magic damage.
Yeah, they do.
And Puyo has Malphite, who is specialized against armor. So that's also a really tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean the big thing for me is I'm looking to maybe see Malphite go for the Everfrost build instead, because Frostfire Gauntlet is good, but the Everfrost build, while we saw it in pro play, does enable a whole lot of damage for your ultimate for one thing, because you can just passively accrue a bunch of ability power after building legendary items afterwards, and armor isn't exactly the best stat to be using against the enemy team, but there are a bunch of spicy builds on the table that people could pick up, but we'll have to see if they go for it. All these questions will be answered once we get onto the Rift, which we are going to take just a quick break in order to do. So when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift with Puyo Gaming Academy up against Penta Society. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Jay Wonton has the cowbell skin.
It's the best one.
It's a real good one.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. On the last day of Season 9, we have Pueo Gaming Society on the blue side up against Penta Society on the red, and we are in game number 2. We have another spicy invade, but these are spotted out long before they could even get there, so it's going to be relatively fine for them. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by True Tobago, and we're ready to get this game underway. True, you ready?
Oh yeah, absolutely ready. Like if this does turn out to be the final game of the regular season, I hope it's an exciting one, especially considering how game 1 went, kills back and forth. It was a bloodbath. And let's see if Pueo Gaming Academy and Penta Society can deliver. As you said, nothing too surprising since that since the invade does get spotted out. But something that's worth calling attention to, OCD Hobo electing to grasp into this matchup. It's probably going to be pretty painful for him, especially because Silas can really punish you in his Malphite. You want to have Arcane Comet to just get the easy harass in and a lot of damage down, especially in lane. Oh yeah, also he didn't start Corrupting Potion, which means that you can't cast your abilities very often as Malphite because your abilities are very mana heavy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a rough one in that top lane for OCD Hobo. Otherwise, everything seems pretty standard.
Yeah, and I did want to take a check. Okay, so they don't have the Time Warp Tonic, so the Corrupting Potion might have been just a little bit lesser on them. But yeah, I agree. Look, I think OCD Hobo only used 1 Q, and he's down to about half mana right now.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Yeah. And that being said, you do want to spam this, though, just so you can get that harass down. You can see Svoboda already down to half health, but you can't really keep that up in this matchup if you just keep chewing through your mana pool like that.
Yeah, and OCD Hobo will be able to stay in this lane for a little bit, right? Thanks to the Doran Shield and the potions and the grass. But how much it becomes like, okay, well, you have all the HP, but you don't have any mana, and that's how you harass, right? I think you're right that this is going to be a pretty tough lane, even though OCD Hobo might be just a little bit safer in it in terms of HP.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that Svoboda does have that Corrupting Potion and has all 3 charges still left on it. So he's fine eating harass. He's actually just been using Kingslayer to heal, but this is a snowball coming in bot lane.
Oh, yeah, that's such an amazing setup for first blood here. Hosho Marine picks it up again. As actually, no, that's going to be Colts fan was the one who picked up first blood in the previous game. Seems like blue side is OP for picking up first blood. Is Jay Wonton looking for some more here? Mobai taken pretty low here, but now they're underneath turret. I don't think they're going to be able to follow up that kill there. Meanwhile, the top lane, OCD Hobo was ganked by Colts fan.
Yeah, I mean, like, it happened in the previous game. As you said, the first blood was actually Colts fans, but that was off of the invade. And then there were additional kills off of just the level 1 cheese from Amelia Watson and Jay Wonton. But, Nunu has so much ganking potential. Actually, it looks like we have a fight towards the river. No, not quite. Oh, that's an engage.
Ooh, yeah, Jay Wonton looking for Papa skips once more, but underneath turret means that they're just going to back away. But that does give opportunity for Amelia Watson to get that, press the attack trigger, and a little bit more harass on the Papa skips.
But yeah, so once again, with that biggest snowball ever, there is so much ease of execution for those early ganks, and it happened quite consistently in game 1, and it happened again here. But this time, it's Colts fan who's coming in for the gank.
Ooh, yeah, gonna force out the flash from Jay Wonton in the bot lane, though. Means that they're perfectly safe. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Svoboda actually taking some damage from OCD Hobo here, who backed and picked up a null magic mantle.
Yeah, as you said, got the back off. Didn't actually have to TP back to lane, but in exchange for that, you can already see only 10 CS on this Malphite because he's been so aggressive, and that's a snowball coming in.
Yeah. Oh, Nuno actually gets the swerve. Let's go. Hosho Marine Drift King. As they're going to be able to pick up the kill in the top lane. That's a real good pickup onto Silas there. Going to give Malphite some breathing room.
Yeah, absolutely. Does give that breathing room, able to get the CS back into his pocket. But now Svoboda already TPing back in just instantly and forces the Malphite away from this lane. Will be recouping some of that CS that he lost. Aztarath getting
Slaybo
really
Keta
aggressive here.
Yeah, pretty aggressive. I don't think they're going to follow up. Ooh, Mobai caught up by a ward in the bush here. Has to flash away. Might be in some trouble. Stunned up. Last bit of damage. Amelia Watson flash forward. Heal is going to keep them alive for a little bit longer. Jay Wonton is looking for the kill, but taking up so much damage from the turret. They spent both of their summoner spells, but they live to tell the tale.
Man, if I am Mobai in that situation, my heart is beating so fast. Not only do you get like headbutted, like you get stunned right after you flash, and then the enemy AD carry flash and Qs on you. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm alive. I'm alive. But that does give them the easy avenue into that early dragon. Nice mountain for them to give them those additional stats. And you know, it's not much, but hey, more armor, more MR will go a long way, especially for targets that typically can't get very much. So it's nice to have at least early on here as a single stack. But looks like it will be either an ocean or a cloud rift in this game, as the infernal is the next one that shows its sigil on the wall. Oh, engage in top lane.
Yeah, looking for OCD Hobo, but it looks like he's just scaring them off the minions right now. I think this Null Magic Mantle is actually doing a whole lot of work, especially with that Mountain Drake and actually keeping them alive. That full combo from Svoboda didn't really do a whole lot there. So definitely a good pickup by OCD Hobo, even if it is just a Null Magic Mantle.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, once again, goes a long way, especially considering that Svoboda's build doesn't have any pen naturally in it. Because you go for that Conqueror with Silas, you just want the additional combat stats, fighting. And yeah, like you're more dependent on sustaining through your use of Kingslayer and punishing your opponent like over time rather than continuously high burst engages. Yeah. But you can see Hosha Marine's actually kind of living in Colts fans jungle at the moment. Doesn't get the Gromp.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, that's the new special right there, right? You clear camps so quickly that you can just walk into the enemy's jungle and take it from them. But this is going to be Slaybo Keta actually in some trouble here. They're not the biggest snowball ever is not going to land. Neither are the smaller ones, but Marine is doing a good job of kiting them away, zoning them off of these minions. And finally, they're going to be able to get their avenue in.
Yeah, and you can actually see that Slaybo Keta kind of stuck around a little bit. Probably is looking for the opportunity to use Chrono Break to just come back and look for that cheeky, you know, kill onto Aztarath. But Hosha Marine stuck around, made sure it didn't happen. Oh, engage top.
Yeah, Svoboda is actually taking OCD Hobo pretty low here, and that Corrupting Potion is definitely doing some damage as well. I don't think they have the damage to do so just yet. The only AP item they have so far is that Doran's Ring. So yeah, I think their best thing that they can do is just shove this huge wave into the turret right here, back, and then come back with a lot more AP, because it's going to be really hard for OCD Hobo to
Slaybo Keta's coming up top.
Yeah.
This could be a dive.
Ooh,
oh no!
Okay, Svoboda. Okay, there's the unstoppable force from Silas. Slaybo Keta is going to be the one picking up the kill in the top lane. And that's a really, really good pickup, but Flash, oops.
So OCD Hobo overthought it, right? He was like, okay, I'm going to flash Silas using my ult, and then I'm going to ult him under my tower. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a massive punish. But then he didn't ult, and the flash was just completely burnt. And that made it super, super easy for the dive to happen. Which is unfortunate. I understand what Hobo was trying to do, but yeah, that's really rough.
Yeah, it is pretty rough there because yeah, I think you're right too. So sometimes you don't need to play 5D chess against your opponent. Sometimes it's just checkers. You know, you don't need to go too ham into it. You don't need to go for the Twitter clip. Sometimes you need to go for the play that's just a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, OCD Hobo starting to have a really rough time, but I would say at least in this one, it doesn't feel as bad because at least you have assist in your pocket early on. But this is engaged once again in bot lane.
Jay Wonton gonna be Dark Passage actually pretty good, but they're still looking for the dive here. Bullet time comes across, and they're gonna be knocked into the air. Mobai goes down. Jay Wonton still taking underneath the turret, but that is going to be the Alistar ultimate pop, so they're not gonna go down anytime soon. But Svoboda in the top lane now has that lost chapter, so they're definitely going to be sitting pretty with a bunch of harass damage onto OCD Hobo, a whole lot in this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, like, once again, a lot of bot lane focus coming out here for the side of Puyo. They really want to get Amelia Watson ahead. And Hosho Marine has just been really, really key in making that happen. But oh, this might be a solo kill on top lane.
Yeah, has to use that unstoppable force in order to get out of the fight, and that is not how you want to be using that ultimate. Sure, it saved their life, but it does mean Svoboda does get to free farm up in this top lane, and they've already shown that they can do some pretty good wave management. So if they can shove this wave in and then immediately get the back. Oh, wait a minute. Sejuani is actually going into the top lane with the Rift Herald. So yeah, this might actually be a taken turret.
Yeah, but then even on top of that, you force out the unstoppable force. And yes, you see Sejuani pop the Rift Herald there in top lane, and that gives you an avenue to get that second drag for yourselves. But this is pretty much kind of what happened in the previous game, right? Penta Society were like, okay, we're going to give up the first two drags. We're going to scale up on the map elsewhere. And this time it's really happened in the top lane. Svoboda gets so much plate gold at 11 minutes into the game, and that Sylas is just going to be huge, going to be so scary. But oh dear, here's another fight in the bot.
Yeah, the Dark Passage wasn't picked up by Colts fans, so now they need to get in there manually. Here comes the teleport in from Sylas as well. Jay Wonton is going to be in some trouble here. Good hook. That's a great pickup as well. They pick up a good kill for themselves in the bot lane here, but there's, man, not a whole lot for them to look for unless they're just looking for the turret.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's so painful about Hobo having to burn his ultimate defensively earlier. Yes, he has TP available, but without that unstoppable force, he can't match the TP in terms of threat. But the fight isn't over in the bot.
Yeah, this Azdorath has joined the party, and they're still looking for dealing some decent damage here. Amelia Watson does have that bullet time available if they're able to find some good CC, but the red team is peeling backwards very well right now. Mobai slowed up just a little bit more. Here comes the biggest snowball ever. I think this Nunu still wants to fight. Looking for the Sylas, doesn't quite find it. Hook comes across, doesn't land onto anyone. And it looks like that's just going to be the red team continuing to peel backwards. The Sylas still in some trouble. Going to dash over the wall, though. All right.
Yeah, I mean, and you also see Slaybell Kata going into top lane, making sure that, that all of that gold, all of that experience doesn't go to waste. And that was also done after pushing his own lane and making sure that, the Azdorath starts missing out in addition to that. That being said, this time around for Puyo, even though they are at a 2k gold deficit at 13 minutes here, things don't feel as completely out of hand as last game. Last game at this point, like, there's kills abound. Like, everybody's fighting all the time, all over the map. But it's not happening this time. There's more like small advantages being taken, and they're building up a lead off that. That works in Penta Society's favor. But Puyo, they really want to get something going, and Hosho Marine hasn't found an opportunity with those biggest snowballs ever very recently.
Yeah, and I want to say that even in the previous game, we did see real close gold leads like this swing back and forth over and over through the course of the game. So even though the red team does have an advantage here, we've seen from the previous game that it's not exactly permanent. These gold leads do swing back and forth. So, this is still anyone's game at this stage, even though the red team is looking pretty dominant right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the thing that's highlighted more for me is that everything just feels a little bit more coordinated. But that's a nice one.
Yeah, Papa Skips is going to go down to the bullet time right now. Chain Wonton still wants a little more, but Colts fan is just a little bit out of reach. Slaybell Kata has teleported in, and Sylas is walking down. They've batted over the dome, but can't quite find the stun just yet. Looks like the blue team is just out of reach, and the red team can't quite engage.
Yeah, it's really hard to look for an engage, especially because Colts fan doesn't have that Glacial Prison available, and they already lost Papa. But it doesn't look like it's quite over here.
Yeah, Che Wonton might have stepped just a little bit too far forward. Flash chain's not going to land. Does note that Svoboda does have bullet time available. So if they land the combo, this could be gigantic. Svoboda does have a decent chunk of AP in their pocket here. Che Wonton, there's the Chilling Smite, looking for a little bit more. They can't quite find it, though.
Yeah, you did see that Hobo, he does have the ultimate available, was actually standing on the flank, but they don't choose to pull the trigger because it looks like they just, like, okay, let the tower go. We don't want to overcommit. But I think in that particular circumstance, just look for the fight. Even though you don't have the bullet time there, you have exhaust on your rise. You have absolute zero to also, combo off of the unstoppable force, and that could be a really big gold swing. But instead, they choose to play it slow. Isn't necessarily wrong, especially because you want to have your ultimates all up and available for the next dragon coming up in just under 50 seconds here.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good so far. I do want to point out one thing: the highest CS in the game currently, 147 CS, is on Azdorath on Rise. So making a good, doing a very good job of making sure that his team can stay in the game, even if it just is one person. And Rise is someone that is very good to have all that farm on. Right, is going to be doing a whole lot of damage with very little amounts of gold. So just imagine what they can do with a whole lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that Azdorath does have that tier fully scaled up, but it looks like Penta, okay. They want a little bit of engage, but couldn't find it.
Yeah, here, Svoboda is also caught out here. It looks like the team just wants to fight over this Cloud Drake here. It's 5 out of 5, but Papa Skips is caught out here. Might have to flash over the wall. Going to do so. Absolute Zero coming across. Going to put some damage on Slay Belcata, but it's a 4v5 right now. Malphite is making their way down. If they want this fight, they need to take it sooner rather than later. That unstoppable force is available. They do have control over this this Dragon Pit, but they're backing right now. Okay. They're backing. The blue team is looking for the turret instead.
Yeah, I mean, Papa Skips really wanted to get the reset in. Oh, that's a chrono break.
Yeah, that's a chrono break coming across. They're really trying to dive on Slide Belcata. They're going to be able to find the kill. Glacial Prison comes across, and now Svoboda and Coltsfan are on the wrong side of this fight here. Caitlyn is going to be sandwiched off as well. The red team's trying to peel backwards, maybe find something for themselves. Svoboda doesn't have that, does have unstoppable force, but Obide still has to continue cutting backwards, flashes away as well. The box comes down, but there's the re-engage from Silas here. This could be huge 4-man ultimate here. They find one. Can they find more? Bullet time on the side here is going to be able to pick up the kill onto Thresh as Silas continues to tear through the enemy blue team. Svoboda is huge. Triple kill for Svoboda on the Silas. Absolutely huge. And now they have control over the river. They got control over the pit. They're going to grab this Drake.
Yeah, and that is why you have to be careful about picking all these ultimates that Silas just loves to have. Yes, OCD Hobo did have the unstoppable force available, but the moment he shows up, Svoboda is like, can I hijack the ult? Yes, grabs it, and even though Playo had forced Mobai to completely disengage, even though they killed Papa Skips again, the problem is that Caitlyn is not as important to their comp as Amelia Watson is to Playos. And Amelia was zoned off. Easy 4-man unstoppable force for Svoboda, and it was a massive punish. Like you said, 4 kills now on this Silas, 60 CS ahead of OCD Hobo, and yeah, Svoboda firmly in the driver's seat in this game already.
Yeah, and I just gotta question just a little bit what the play was from the red team. Like, after they got control of the river first, they started to back, and now Slay Belcata actually can't fight OCD Hobo in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, like, his build isn't oriented towards that. And like you mentioned a while ago, right? OCD Hobo itemized a lot of early magic damage, and even though Slay Belcata has 2 magic pen items, that magic pen isn't good enough to cut through what OCD Hobo has at the moment. But that might be a Nunu getting caught out.
Yeah, that's an absolute Zero being interrupted as well. That's an unstoppable force coming across, but it doesn't land onto anyone here. But Slay Belcata is in a whole lot of trouble, has to flash away now. Use that Rocket Belt to try to get away with Chain Wonton. Still looking for the kill, but the stun is good. Here comes Mobai in from the side, still looking for a little bit more. Stun onto Alistar here, has to try to get away. The trample is good. They're knocking them into the air. Here comes the bullet time coming across, but not going to be able to find any kills. Dash over the wall. The red team still looking to try to salvage this as best they can. Hook comes across, not going to be able to land. But yeah, you said it right. Svoboda is really the big carry for the red team here, and he was not in that fight at all. Ocean Marine looks for a little bit of another engage, but can't quite find it. The red team looks to push the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, Penta, they did look for an opportunity there, but they looked for it on the worst target possible. It takes so long to cut through this Nunu, who has the Sunfire Cape, which gives you tenacity, along with those those Merc Treads, and, additional tenacity once again. So it's really hard to CC him but then he also has a lot of health, has access to healing and the shield. So because it takes so long, there was the opportunity for the collapse. And they ended up fighting against an MF in a corridor, but luckily they had the tools to escape this time. But they really, really are relying on that gold lead that Svoboda has in order to turn fights around.
Yeah, because if we look at the rest of the map, like it really is one of the few places that they do have that pretty significant gold lead, right? It's nearly a 4,000 gold difference between both top laners, right? But other than that, the gold is either relatively even or in the blue team's favor, right? Look at the CS for Aztarath. You can't fight this guy 1v1. He's got 200 CS. He's got a kill and 2 assists. He's got a whole bunch of gold. It's not even close to what Slay Belcata has. And even though Mobai has a lead in the bot lane in terms of gold, it's really not by that much. And so it kind of shows itself in the items as well, right? I think the big difference Caitlyn has over MF is like the zeal. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the gold lead here, right, and you see that combined cumulatively, Puyo have just over 30k gold, and on the other hand, you can see that Penta Society have roughly a 3k gold lead. But if you take a look at where the gold is situated, that 4k of that gold lead is actually on Svoboda, right? He has 4k lead over OCD Hobo. So when he's not in that fight, the teams are essentially fighting at equal gold, and actually a slight advantage for the side of Puyo, and that's why those fights look so precarious when the Sylas isn't there.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of it is just chalked up to the good farming that Aztarath has been doing and the relatively safe play that Amelia Watson has been doing. They're 2-0-3. They have yet to die in this game, and they have a decent score line as well. I don't think you could ask for better at this stage. I mean, obviously, you could ask for better, right? Amelia Watson could have like 5 kills or something. But this is a very good, solid stat line from Misfortune here, and a very, very good stat line from the Rise. That Svoboda has to be in these team fights, has to absolutely be here, because this fight that Papa Skips might be taking is not the one that they want.
Yeah, absolutely not. You see Svoboda there in the top lane. TP already getting channels here as this dragon fight is looking to start up.
Yeah, the Realm will bring over to Mobai here. Slay Belcata might be caught out here. Going to use that Realm Ward, trying to get across. But he's going to be caught in the absolute zero. Dashes away at the last moment, but not going to quite be able to get out of it. Svoboda's finally joined the fight. Bullet time comes across. Slay Belcata's taken incredibly low, but Svoboda is looking to 1v3 right now. Hook comes across. Glacial Prison is huge. Svoboda is healing up a whole lot. Going to be able to pick up one. Slay Belcata gets a big shield, trying to look for a second kill. Can't quite find it. Colts fan is going to be Echo's going to be the one picking up that double kill for themselves. Now Che Wonton is in the middle of 4 members of the red team. Hook is good. Che Wonton goes down. Svoboda picks up another kill. 6-1-3 on this Sylas. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, and for a tiny portion of that fight, Svoboda was in the middle of 4 people, but you take a look at his health bar, it's practically back up to full. And what does that highlight? A complete absence of grievous wounds on Puyo. They do not have any form of heal cut outside of Che Wonton's Ignite, and boy did it show in that fight. Svoboda TP's in, he has the Unbreakable Will from Alistair, pops it, takes no damage for 7 seconds, and then when they start trying to burst him down, he just Kingslayers all the health back, gives his team the avenue to kite back, create space, and then continue doing damage, and they smash that fight away, and they get a second Cloud Drake for themselves.
Yeah, then this is really important too, because this is more ultimate cooldowns. This is a team that doesn't mind just staying and, pressing haha lol Argo Burr, right? This is a team with a lot of pretty powerful ultimates. It's not just Sylas stealing them from the enemy team. Oh, yeah. Baron's being started up by the red team. Yeah, and Nunu doesn't have vision of this, and he's backing right now.
Yeah, and Colts fan isn't even there. Their jungler isn't even there when the Baron's getting started up. That's a wildly aggressive play, but they know that there's no vision in the area, and they just get this for easy. It's free.
Yeah. That is definitely very free, and now you have an opportunity. Oh, double dashes over the wall. They're looking for Malphite. Okay,
Oh,
let's see.
dear.
Okay,
Flash.
they're gonna
Oh.
pick up. Okay, the Glacial Prison doesn't land,
no.
but Hobo's slowed down here. They're diving forward. Svoboda is here. That's gonna be the unstoppable force on top of Misfortune here. Stun them up. Can they find the last bit of damage? Gonna flash away. The rest of the team is here to answer as well. Svoboda might actually go down here, taken to below half HP. Gonna dash back in, heals back up thanks to the Kingslayer, but Rise is gonna be the one picking up the shutdown. That's pretty big here. Mobai is here as well. Does some decent damage onto Astaroth. That might pick up one. Can they pick up another? Hosho Marie goes down. That's 2 kills. Can Mobai find more? Dark Passage is going to bring Colts Fan into this fight, but it's not necessary. Svoboda goes down, goes over to Misfortune, which is huge, but they pick up 2 kills, then they're going to pick up some turrets to boot.
Yeah, I mean, like, it looked a little bit hairy for the side of Penta Society when Svoboda finally goes down. The MF ult paying off incredibly well. Slaybell Kata might actually die. Oh, nope, got a solid.
Okay, yep, yeah.
Thank you,
Shout
Mr.
outs.
Alistair.
Yeah, shout outs. Shout outs to a real one.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so once Svoboda dies there, it looks so scary because Astaroth, that looked like he was about to get going, you know, start flexing that huge CS advantage he has over Slaybell Kata. But, you know, something that we haven't, you know, really looked at, haven't really discussed, is that Mobai has also been farming quietly this entire game with an equally, it's the same exact scoreline as Amelia Watson actually now.
Yeah.
But also a similar difference in terms of CS as compared to, you know, Azarath versus Slaybell Kata, almost 100 at this point. And yeah, that speaks for itself. The, you know, the late game Caitlyn scaling almost here, as you can see how big those headshots were.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is they've spent so much time itemizing towards Svoboda, they now need to deal with Mobai as now. They're looking to dash away from all this magic damage. They're going to be able to escape this time. The hooks from Papa Skip's not exactly going to land, but they are going to give themselves some space, and they have a wave in the bot, and they have a wave mid. They're doing a good split right here.
Yeah, you know, you attack from multiple angles. You already took all the towers all up until the inhib turret in the top lane. You have the Baron buff, so spread it around to make best use of that power. And that's this is a good way of doing so. You just push every single lane, get as many turrets as possible. Last side lane turret about to fall here. They get it rather easily. Whoa!
Ooh, ace in the hole. Gonna get body blocked by Che Wonton here. Good hook, gonna follow it through. Gonna play as well, but a little too soon. They're gonna be rooted up, snared for an eternity. Amelia Watson's gonna be the one picking up the kill there. As now it's a 1-for-1. It's a 1-for-nothing. But look at Mobai. They have to do something. This Caitlyn attacks so quickly, takes out these turrets, might grab an inhibitor before they can. Okay. Here comes the Realm Warp. Mobai's in some trouble. Svoboda diving in here. Does have that Alistar ultimate. Unstoppable force. Headbutt pulverized. Not biggest snowball ever. Mobai goes down after being caught in the bounce house. Now they're in the middle of this. Gonna go golden. Gonna keep themselves alive for a little bit longer. Absolute Zero is not gonna be the depth of them. Flashing forward. Gonna pick up the kill onto OCD Hobo. As now both Slaybell Kata and Svoboda are gonna try to keep themselves alive in this fight. They don't have the movement speed to catch up just yet. Ocean Marine doesn't have... Ooh, they're just going to walk down, pick up this turret, and then get themselves out of there. No inhibitors were taken, but it was a 2-for-2. Ooh, wait a minute. Svoboda still wants more. Dashing onto Astaroth here. Going to root them up with that Everfrost and going to be able to... Ooh, okay. Pulverized just a little too soon there. Here comes the biggest snowball ever. Dashing forward. Going to steal the absolute Zero. Okay, let's see if they can do it. Okay, going to immediately get interrupted. Svoboda knocked into the air. Welcome back to the bounce house, bud, as here comes Amelia Watson in from the side. That's going to be making it rain. Shut down for Amelia Watson. 300 gold. That means 500 gold total, but look at what Slaybell Cat has been doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what happens when you are at, you know, such a profound deficit, right? Like, so many of your lanes get pushed in, your towers don't last very long. So while, you know, there's a 4-man strong push in the bottom lane for Penta Society, they pushed in and Mobai was like, all right, and starts pushing in mid, takes the inhibitor turret, does most of the damage on the tower, or on the inhibitor itself, rather. And then the fight breaks out, and you saw Hosho Marine, as well as Astaroth and Che Wonton. They dogpiled onto that Caitlyn. They're like, we're getting that shut down. But then Svoboda is like, okay, I'll just kill MF. And then the healing, once again, shows its work. But this time around, that didn't work out super, super well for him, as Hosho Marine does have the Bramble Vest in the inventory to finally give access to that heal cut. So, It might be a little bit too little too late at this point, just considering the state of the base, as well as now 3 Cloud Drakes for the side of Penta Society. But, those are the itemization moves they have to be making if they want to continue staying alive.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain a lot of these ultimates are on minute or less than a minute cooldowns. Yeah, across the board here. 30 seconds on Hijack, 64 seconds on Glacial Prison, 41 seconds on Chrono Break, 55 seconds on Ace in the Hole, 65 seconds on the box. This red team is always ready to fight. They're always ready to go. They always keep that MF and thing on them.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are even level 16 yet, right? They don't have access to the final tier of their ultimates. So if they get, if this game lasts long enough to get that fourth rather, Cloud Drake stack, and they all hit level 16, probably not Papa Skips if we're being honest, but those are hilariously low ultimate cooldowns. Like that's the type of state where you see Echo is able to ult twice in a single team fight.
Yeah. And it's going to be even more tough because there's never going to be a moment where you can even walk forward and just you always have to be worried about where Silas is, right? Because Silas is going to come up, steal your ultimate, and then do something like this. That's an unstoppable force over the wall looking for Hosho Marine. This is going to be the Colts fan diving in, but it's 5v1. Going to have to flash out when they see the numbers disadvantage. They can't quite find it. Azdarath. Holy moly, Mobai is huge. Okay, that was only 2 auto attacks, and Azdarath was taken to about 50% HP. All right, they got the push. Let's see if they can find the engage. Biggest snowball ever. Doesn't quite land, and oh my god, he stole another ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, this is late game Silas at work. As you mentioned now, Svoboda is level 16 at this point. He's just going to be able to steal ultimate after ultimate.
Oh no! Dives in, immediately uses that Chrono Break. Che Wonton on the back end here, going to keep Mobai away from the fight. But Svoboda just doesn't go down. He's so healthy. He's healing up so much they can't stop him. Goes golden the second that he sees any sort of attention. Slave Elcata tanking up the turret. That's going to be Azdarath going golden. Hosho Marine's going to dive onto the Thresh and going to be able to pick up the kill there. Look at the headshot damage from Mobai. Absolutely huge. That's going to be Penta Society picking up the ace and picking up the Nexus as well. They pick up game 2. They pick up this series. They pick up a whole lot of things. Call it 52 pickup, but they win.
Yeah, and they close out this series and they close out this style season looking strong. Once again, Svoboda making it look easy in that top lane with that Silas. Yes, he had tons of wonderful ultimates to steal for himself. And yeah, it honestly looked like he was having some fun with it there towards the end, right? He just grabbed the unstoppable force and single ulted Hosho Marine, and it really does speak for itself, that huge and massive gold lead in the top lane. But as well, I do want to give a lot of credit to Mobai, farming up in fantastic fashion. But as much as we sing the praises for Penta Society, they are very much well-deserved praises at that. I did like the early aggressive moves that Puyo brought in this series, especially with that bot lane. They played towards a specific win condition, and that's something you like to see with teams. They have a game plan. This time, though, they just didn't execute on it incredibly well.
Yeah, for sure. But that's going to do it for us here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And from myself, the entire live broadcast crew, True to Bega, my co-caster, K9, our producer for this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And a few announcements before we go away. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action for y'all to watch every single week. And we're going into playoffs, which means we're going to see a whole lot more exciting games. And if you are feeling generous, press that subscribe button or look for our Patreon, which you can directly support Style Esports. Make sure we can keep the lights on, the air conditioning running, and making sure that we can still provide this high quality content for y'all to watch. But that's going to do it for us here. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.